beautiful Kristen. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh, I like
Hello
the shimmy
to,
dance.
yay, hello to our listeners. We are Kristen and Ghislaine, and we are recording a new episode of Who Made That Shit Up. So to start with, I'm just gonna tell you what we are doing here. So we decided to go with a free-flowing talk to start our podcast. So what are we doing in this podcast? We are challenging the norms. We are challenging the paradigm that we live in, challenging society, I nearly want to say, just to invite you to think about what you are doing, how you are doing it, and if this is in alignment with you. As you might understand from the title of our podcast, Who Made That Shit Up? We question in our private life, in our social life, in our business life, how we are doing things, and especially who made that shit up and why did we at one point decide to follow that rule? Is it a real rule? Is it something we identify with, that we like? Usually we don't really like things or people. No, that's a joke. But this is what we speak about in this podcast. And I'm so delighted to be here with you, Kristen. We had a little break. I went traveling to the US, and you went also traveling to Bali, and we had a little
I
break
also
in
saw
the.
you in the
In the
US.
you saw me. Yes, we saw each other in the US. We
See you in
recorded
the
a
US.
podcast that we questioned and did
And
not
then we didn't
post.
put.
So, yes, basically, we are inviting you to join us as we talk, discuss, go deep, and we have absolutely no idea what this podcast is going to be about, because we are just floating with the flow of what was made up before we landed in this recording, and here we are. Hi, Kristen, how are you doing?
We never know. But I will say it's very interesting because both of us are feeling a little nervous. So we don't so we don't know what will come up.
Yes, exactly.
I'm unusually nervous compared to where we usually start. I usually don't feel like this. So I feel like it may be comforting for me.
Yeah, so this is very interesting. Do you feel that you have to deliver something? Like, is there something that you feel that's.
No, it doesn't feel about delivering. I think it's just um I think I've just been looking at a lot of things lately that
Mm-hmm.
have been confronting for me.
Okay.
And in these podcasts, we typically talk about things that one or both of us are going through. And it's a head-on like not confrontation in a bad way, but it's ooh,
Well, we are holding mirrors for
reflective.
each other. Yes, yes. We are offering reflection for each other and offering mirrors. And well, thank you very much. Tell me more about it.
So tell you more. Well, I'm in a I'm in a life cleanse. I would say like I just finished actually an intestinal cleanse. So
Thank you.
there's
Yes,
been
yes.
a lot of
Literally and figuratively, you are cleansing. Yes.
I'm cleansing, literally and figuratively. And in that, I've been, when we cleanse, it brings up, when we physically cleanse, it brings up a lot of emotional things as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
so
because.
I'm in a season of endings and new beginnings. And so in that, I've had to look at um, where there's been avoidance, where there's been distractions, where I've overcommitted, or where I've started things and then kind of left energy open. And now it kind of like hangs over me as this thing I have to finish or complete. And these are more for like projects or things I've studied or different
Mm-hmm.
things. And so I'm in this place of wrapping things up and deciding where I'm going to focus. And I realized I have a commitment problem.
Well, that's very interesting. I wanted to go into, you know, cleaning up things and getting back your energy, but this commitment issue is much more interesting. Let's go into that.
Well, I just realized because recently I've been like there's just been this unfolding that's been like waves. So it started with realizing where I've taken other people's truths on as my own over the years, and that's deviated me from my path. And so there's a few things that I need to close up connected to that. And so that was like a big aha. And then it's been questioning, okay, well then, if I bought this idea of what people have sold to me, and I'm coming back to who I truly am without all of their opinions or beliefs or whatever, then what is it I really want to be doing? So I've been questioning my passion and my purpose, really, and how I'm doing it, and questioning my passion in the sense of I know the things that light me up, but I feel like I'm not really lit up right now.
I'm just going to offer another perspective of what you are saying.
Please.
And it's maybe not gonna sound very nice, but I don't know. Oh, contraction.
Okay, no.
Okay. So what I'm also hearing in what you are saying is that you are who you are based on the reflection that others gave you. Now that you are not accepting their reflection of you anymore, you don't know who you are anymore.
I would say yes and no.
I wouldn't expect you to say, yes, my God, this is better.
No, I mean,
and I love it, yeah.
It's not that, it's interesting because there are cycles, right? And when I looking at it, when I like left the typical world, in the sense of my career, job, everything I had been doing, my belief systems that ran that life.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like I knew where I was going or what I was doing, or like I was searching, and I gave my power to other people in the sense of I allowed other people to influence. I wouldn't say dictate, I would say influence my choices. And this goes into a conversation we had before about how, like, when someone has authority, or through knowledge or position or something, we can be, I can speak for myself, but I've seen many other people have this happen where then we're influenced by other people's beliefs, especially when other people say they know better, in any sense of like, oh, I have all this wisdom, I have all this knowledge, I'm telling you for your highest and best what's coming through. And
that's also true for people that come with an energetical force of knowing. So it's not only when people speak it out, but also the way their energy comes through. Yes.
And it muddied up my clarity.
Yes.
So in that, I would say all of my big choices I've made from a place, well, not all of them, but most of my big choices, no, I'd say my big choices, I made from a place of, is this right for me? In that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
Were they maybe influenced? Some of them definitely, others no. But I always knew, like, I can tell you which ones were influenced and which ones weren't.
Yeah.
I can tell you where I ignored my own knowledge and knowing because someone who knew better or was more, had been on this path longer than me, or had like said they were so connected or whatever bullshit people were spreading about. And it's not in a sense of they were lying to me. They truly believed what they were saying, but it was through their own distortions.
And
And
so this made you trust what your mind was saying more than what your heart was saying. And what your mind was saying was based on other people's
mhm.
truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, and I always, like, hindsight, I definitely can see where I was like, no, that doesn't feel aligned. Or, and there are some occasions, there's like one I'm thinking of, which is not a big one. It's not a big life altering thing, where I went and did something because multiple people told me, like, oh yeah, this is for you and blah blah blah. Anyways.
Well, it's also, some things are also small. It's the same as going to a coffee shop because everybody says, "Oh, the coffee is delicious there. Go there, go there." Five people and you
Yes.
go and you drink the cup of coffee and you're like, "Yaki paki Shanghai. This is awful."
Or like, this is the thing that's gonna make the big shift. That was like
Oh,
that
yes.
that was how it was like sold to me, and I
Well,
bought it.
but
Bought it.
it's the same as do this diet and you will lose 10 kilos in 2 hours and you will feel wonderful. Okay, so it's
And so and that's on me. And don't get me wrong, like I benefit a lot from that program. I benefit, like, it actually helped me make decisions that I probably wouldn't have made without it. So it was the right choice for the wrong reasons,
yes.
right? Like, it was the right choice for the wrong reasons. And I can see that now.
Hmm.
But in my work of what I'm creating, I have so many really amazing ideas, by the way. Like, I'm like a freaking creative genius in this head. Like,
Weeha!
really, I got so many ideas. The thing is, there's just this, like, I'm stuck in this place of where, like, people are like, you have to niche. You have to niche. And I'm like, well, I'm getting all this inspiration and none of it seems connected to me in this human body. Like, some of it I can see how it connects. Others I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. And so then I find myself in this, like, oh, but I'm like really excited about this, and I'm really excited about this, and I'm really excited about this. And in all that excitement, there's not much movement. There's a lot of
So,
creation. Like, I
so,
create, I create all of it, and then I get distracted.
so how did we go from I'm getting rid of old energy to I need to niche and I don't want to do that? What's the
Because I've opened up all of these projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking at where I haven't fully committed to any of them.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense, they're all open. These are my personal projects. They're all open. And they're all on different things. And there's no focus point that I have been able to find that connects them. And I am at a point where I'm questioning, why is it, I feel like I'm about to give myself my own light bulb moment right here. But it's like, why is it that they're all like, how do I focus it? And then do I have to focus it?
It is good you. This is what I wanted to ask. Who said you had to focus? Because in the sense that, I mean, okay, yes, focus. Focus for the creation towards something. But if you are doing 5 different things that for you are all supporting you to focus towards what you want to bring to this earth with your company, who am I, or a marketing guru, or a sales god? Who are they to say that you are not doing it in the right way? Because that's what you base your judgment on yourself on the fact that people say this and this and this. So the question is, if you would be standing in your truth, you are at a moment in time, you close your eyes, you stand in your truth. This red dot that you are standing on is your truth. You are so secured in yourself, in your body feels safe. The universe is conspiring in your favor. Whatever comes your way, whatever is alive and present for you, it is a gift from the universe that is conspiring in your favor. It only can be good. So you are standing in your truth. And when you are now looking at all those scores or thinking about all those scores, what happens?
They're all exactly aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. I just can't see necessarily the bigger picture.
Well, okay.
But it's about trusting. It's about trusting how it all comes together. And what I'm buying is that I have to pick one.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly. And then there's the feminine energetics is I want to do them all. And then there's the masculine structure that comes in. With which one am I going to start to, tick, 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 done it, so that the orchestration from the universe truly can come through. Because the universe, everything is aligning for, so that it can unfold in your favor. But you need to take action. It's not going to happen in a magical way. It's like, oh, I'm going to manifest water, flesh.
Yeah, no, it is definitely that balance because, and we were talking about the other day in our conversation, the two of us were talking about the distortion around the feminine. And
yes,
and there's interesting enough.
Sorry, the distortion around feminine energetics and what is being brought into the world as what feminine energy is and how the feminine functions. That's what we are talking about, huh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Thank you. Yeah. So in that, that in that way. And in that, it's that focus. I think maybe focus for me is looking at it as, where am I focusing first or now? Because then I go into, in my head, it's like, well, I get that these aren't all meant to come out at like simultaneously at the same time, right? Like some of them are being created in the background for a future, and some of them are like I'm doing bits and pieces that are for something bigger in the future or different in the future. So I do have that sense. And I think the thing is trying to figure out, okay, it just came to me. It's like, you don't have to, it's that whole choosing something for the rest of your life. That's what this
So the
bullshit is.
commitment.
Yeah, it goes back to the commitment, because it's around the illusion that you have to do something and choose it. It goes back to like when kids are going to school or after high school or wherever you are, when you're moving into the like workforce or higher education or whatever, it's like you have to pick one thing and do it forever. And I think that creates this panic in me, even though I consciously know that's bullshit. Like I know that's like not accurate and true, but it's like, you're 18, you're going out into the world. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? Who are you going to marry for the rest of your life? Yeah. Where are you going to live? I think those are the things that I'm like, I have to get rid of this idea of the rest of my life, because it's a lie. I can change my mind at any point.
Who made that up anyway? That when you choose something, it's going to be for the rest of your life, especially the worlds that we live in today, because this might be true for our parents and our grandparents, definitely. They chose a job, a career, or a direction in life where they wanted to go in, and this is what it was. And I've had a million jobs, and I just really followed my creation, my inspiration, and my passion, and that took me in very, very different places. But it's really interesting for you to look at why this message of you have to choose something for the rest of your life is creating so much contraction. Forever. Yeah.
Oh, and it is interesting too, because in that part of what I've also got, because I can see, if I look at everything I've done, because I've done so much learning, I've done so much, I've done so many different modalities, I've learned a lot, and I love learning. I love, like, learning is one of my passions. And because information fascinates me.
Yeah.
And it expands and shifts the way you perceive everything. And I love that. And it's interesting because one thing I've always, even from a kid, been shamed around is my shifting interest in things. And I've had many mentors say to me, you need to stop jumping from one thing to another and pick something. And I've had many mentors say to me that it's because I feel I'm lacking something that I'm shifting from one thing to another. And that pisses me off because I don't see it that way. But am I now buying that what they said is, have I let that infiltrate the way I perceive what I'm doing? Because I can see how everything is connected into my bigger vision.
Okay. But so you could question, why are you not trusting this belief?
That it's, you mean belief that it's all connected.
Yes, exactly. Why are you choosing to give your power away and not to trust your own belief? And then there's something else that I'm curious about is, do you know your human design?
Yes, I'm a generator.
Okay.
A 16.
I don't know so much about human design. I know that, well, the generators, they are, like the easiest way to explain this is they are generating ideas. And I believe that for generators, the same as manifesting generators, I am a manifesting generator, you learn through doing and through experiencing. And so by starting the course and by going on an adventure of learning this or going that path or doing this, you are finding out what elements of each course is going to be added to you. Because how short-minded, is that a word in English? Short-minded? No. Is that a word? Yeah. How short-minded is it or small-minded is it actually to think, well, I'm studying green stones and for the rest of my life, I'm going to only study green stones to understand green stones. That's completely like narrow-minded is the word I was looking for. Narrow-minded. Narrow-minded, yeah. Small-minded, like not big. Gotcha. The opposite of big. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do live in a society, especially when you look at growing your business, it needs to be very specific. You need to be very, because otherwise people are not going to understand what you are talking about. Well, if people don't understand what I'm talking about, maybe I'm not the right person to speak to them. Yeah. And maybe we don't want to be understood by like everybody that, well, we want to be understood. No, okay, traumas coming up. Let's not go there.
let's dig into this, shall we?
No. We were talking about you. Well, I also believe that we are at a time where we are invited to get very, very clear on who and what we are. And I want to bring up something that doesn't seemingly seem related. Does not seemingly seem related. I'm really choosing my words today, aren't I? Yeah. I'm talking expensive. I'm just putting all the words that I know in here, and then we can make a big basket and offer it as a present to whoever is listening. But so just going a little bit of a side note, I was talking with Maurits about AI and about the fact we were watching. Huh?
I said that's her husband, by the way.
Yes, Maurits is my husband, my husband, hubby of 18 years. Now I think about my husband and my heart opens. Yeah.
Okay, back to the sorry, I just wanted to clarify for everybody.
We were looking at an image of a half animal, half flower being, and it was beautiful. And we were talking about the fact that it was AI generated, and then he spoke about the fact that within 1 year we're going to be able to see full movies that are completely AI generated with things that we can't conceive with our minds today, that are going to be, AI, thought by AI and AI generated. And the link that I made is, well, actually it's going to be beautiful because people are not going to be able to rely solely on what they see and hear to know if it's the truth or if it's real or unreal. And so we can talk about real and unreal and reality, because there's new things being created every day. But what I also immediately connected to was that people will be invited to rely more on their intuition and their inner knowing and learn to see with their third eye, if I might express it like that. So I believe AI is a wonderful tool that is going to support us into, the expansion of humanity. Many people are speaking about the fact that AI is dangerous and it's going to kill us and it's going to yada 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 and they're going to take over the world. And well, they're going to grow. It's going to grow. It's a creation that is like us, just meant to be. And so as we are entering a time where we can question everything, maybe the invitation for you is to now already question those preset ideas, especially in this, like, for example, you have to choose a niche. That's a preset idea that is based on some people that achieved big success with this. But what is not your way of achieving that success?
Yeah, and I've been aware of that. I think the struggle is I haven't figured out how to do it successfully without niching.
But what have you been doing then? Have you been
I've been
niching?
no. Not in a I've been niching in me.
Okay, so you've been freezing to move forward in certain things, because I know you've been creating programs and courses and you've had sessions with clients. So I know you've been doing things, but yeah.
I think because in my head I get stuck and in the overthinking completely. And I get stuck in how do I talk about fertility one week and creating your best life and travel and childbirth and children with special needs and how like embodiment and living your best life. Like it feels to me like, for me, I can see it. I can see the picture on how it's being coming together. What I can't wrap my head around yet, I'm going to say yet, is then how to take all of this magnificence of my creations and put it in a way that other people can digest it, in the sense of receive it through social media, not digest it as like understand it, but like where it's not like dumping everything.
Well, maybe there's a differentiation between the things that you do to support your own growth and the things that you bring into the world to support other people with their growth.
Well, yes, there is.
And you still can share about what you do for your own growth. Or not.
I don't mind sharing. Sharing is not my problem. Well, I mean, it is my problem, but it's like organized sharing. But yeah, so that is my social media dilemma, which is resolving itself as we speak. I'm putting it out there, it's resolving. So, and I will figure it out. It's just, but I know that like whatever I'm doing is different than the way the market is running. And so in that, I have to be kind to myself.
Well, I believe also that you are talking about the dilemma for all the entrepreneurs that are really connected to what they are doing. I feel when I have tried in the past to follow rules of marketing, rules of sales, rules of how to bring my ideas to the world, I feel that it transforms what I do into something so much smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And then it doesn't feel authentic. And
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel authentic, then my communication really gets distorted. Then I don't know how to talk. It's I talk funny. I talk so yeah. That's not yeah. That's not
So
supporting my growth. Also.
so in the aspects of the feminine and the masculine energies coming together in business, right?
Yes.
One thing also, I think moving for me at least, I can't speak for everybody. For me, it's really finding that balance of the two and merging them within my business, within myself as well. Because if it was balanced, it would be more balanced in my business. But because everything is a reflection of what's going on internally.
Yeah.
So in the shedding, the releasing, the letting go of certain things that aren't necessarily in the alignment of what I'm creating moving forward. Bringing in that balance of the masculine and feminine energies within the business, and masculine meaning the structure, the systems that are needed for it. But I think it's very interesting because one thing that popped for me, and I'd love your take on this, was that in this aspect of, in this movement, I'm going to call it a movement of being feminine, living from your feminine, that is taught so widely in different programs, different modalities, concepts. There's an aspect that then turns the masculine into something negative, because not always intentionally, but there's this aspect that turns it into something negative to avoid. And then that's where the distortion comes from. And in that, because of the wording masculine, it also is unconsciously programming a disconnect from men as well. So that popped in for me this morning, and I would love your reflection on that, because the wording is, it's the way we're programmed, consciously or unconsciously.
Well, so when you speak about feminine energetics, when you speak about the feminine, you mean the feminine energetics, the most natural flow of the feminine, what is the most aligned when you do things, create and be from this feminine energetics. That's what we are talking about. Yes, just wanted to confirm. And well, yes, I resonate with you. That there is this message that is being sent. Well, maybe this is also the message that we receive, so that's very interesting to look at. But there is this message that is being sent that says, do your business from feminine energetics and you will make millions. I'm taking a shortcut, but okay, so this is what I'm hearing. Definitely, I've heard this. And then that's very interesting because feminine energetics, so yeah, maybe we should also speak about what are feminine energetics, which is maybe a little bit complicated to dive into for just the purpose of this reflection, but it's going with where there's the most alignment, going with the flow, not forcing anything, not going against your body, not going against. Also, there might or might not be a connection to the womb, so listening to the feminine parts of you, and your heart is connected, for example, to the breast. So there's also a physical aspect of connecting to your body in the feminine body in that sense. And well, what I'm wondering is money is masculine. Money has a masculine energy. So from the base of the statement, make millions from your feminine energy, there's a big duality and contraction. And as we are not completely healed human beings on that theme, I'm not a completely healed human being in that theme. Hearing those two things, make millions from your feminine energetics, in my system, it goes. And if you're listening to me on Spotify and not seeing me on YouTube, I'm making a weird face. So. So there's this contradiction, and we are never taught how to make them work together. We are being taught, well, let's reclaim our feminine energy and let's, do our business in a feminine way, because this is what we are talking about now. But you need structure to create things. You need a plan, you need a goal, you need to know where you're going. And so I agree with not particularly speaking about deadlines, but if you don't create a momentum in time for yourself, where and when you want something to be finished, then you're going to be in 6 months' time still lying on your couch wondering why this hasn't happened yet. Because I know I do it too. Sometimes I procrastinate. This is like the most difficult word for me, so excuse my French. I procrastinate.
It sounds very good.
Thank you very much. I did try, like I worked out on saying words. So I procrastinate and I'm laying in the couch and I'm like, but I really wanted to finish this course today, or I wanted to watch this replay, but look at me, I ended up on the couch for the 6th day in a row. Oh, it's weekend, I get to go with my feminine energy. No, that's bullshit. That's just, lying to yourself. And so I'm happy that you and I are a little bit more educated in those, in that energies, and that we can, look at this. But we also, how amazing would it be to just let the creativity flow, lay on my couch and go with my body, and then all of a sudden, ding dong, there's $1 million on your bank account because so many clients decided to buy the course that you never got to make because you were lying on the freaking couch. Seriously? That's not gonna work. So this is an invitation to everybody that works with feminine energetics to refine the way you are saying things. And the question is, why the heck are you choosing to manipulate women so they buy your courses? I disagree.
It's also shaming.
It's gaslighting. It makes me like outrageously angry.
I can definitely tell, but like it's very, I can feel that, but it's very interesting because in that, like, yes, it's gaslighting, but it's also guilting and shaming women in a way of, well, if you're not bringing in that money, it's because you're not in your feminine, or you're not in,
oh God,
you're not enough in the flow, you're not surrendering into something. Like it takes action, people.
And then when you're not buying something, it's like, it's okay if you're not ready. No, fuck off. I just don't want to buy it from you. Oh, sorry. I said,
that's
like,
okay.
I said it. I said it.
But it's not. Well, I think also with the feminine energy, it's like, well, Well, if it was meant to be, it would just come easy.
Oh gosh.
Or wait, here's another one I really enjoy. It's not the right time, because
Yeah.
otherwise it would have already happened.
And this is so, but this is also the way that that marketing manipulation works, because this is something that is just worldwide. People are doing this in the marketing world. Yes, it's not only, but lately they have been taking all those marketing tricks and adding them to feminine energetics. And that's so dishonoring. That is so, it's like, I don't know. I don't even know. It's like, yeah. And I mean, I don't believe it's the way to go. I really believe that we are invited to see this new paradigm where it's not about shaming people into buying our stuff. It's not about making people believe that they can sit on the couch, stay in their feminine energy, and get the millions. It's,
Strong.
why don't you make an effort to translate what it's really about? Because landing in your feminine energy, because I've been leaning into my feminine energy. And that means for me, I'm going to give a very, very simple example. That means for me, I get a million ideas a day. So I'm a manifesting generator and I get a million ideas a day. When I get an idea, it has to be done yesterday. So I don't walk forward, I run forward, I fall 600 times, and at the end of the equation, I'm like, oh, this is not what I really want to do, but this was fun. Okay, next. Leaning into my feminine energy taught me that when I get an idea, I get to embrace it. I get to sit with it and I get to let it grow even wider roots. Because one idea is not the end product. One idea is part of the whole. And from my feminine energetics, I learned how to sit with it, stay with it,
Let it unfold.
lean into it. Let it be present, let it grow and become alive by its own. Surrender to the idea instead of grasping that idea and go and do something with it, which is masculine energy. And we need both. So first we learn how to lean into our feminine energetics, and then we learn how to balance our masculine energetics and feminine energetics, which we all have in us. So the question is, I guess, what are you invited to do in order to get even more clarity on how this big vision for you is being laid out?
Mm.
So that's as simple as it is. And get this clarity and just choose to stay in that clarity.
And I would say that's offering that question to all our listeners, like, what is your big vision and how can you lean more into it through the masculine and the feminine? And this is for men and women because we both have both aspects.
Exactly.
And one other thing I would invite our listeners to look at is that rather than when you're looking at truth as through someone else's perspective of what is true or not true, looking at, is the message true to you and not is the person telling the truth?
I love this. Yes.
Because to that person, they're telling the truth,
Exactly.
their truth. And that might not be the same as yours. And so looking at it, is the message true?
Yes.
not is the person telling the truth. Because I think we can confuse those because we can energetically read that that person is speaking the truth for
Yes.
them.
Yes. Exactly.
And so we subconsciously are like, oh, yes, it's the truth. Yeah, it's their truth.
Exactly.
But
I
is
love
it yours?
that. I love this.
And so I think those are the big two invites today.
Yay! I love those. I love them.
That was like a this adventure.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
And we landed back at the beginning.
Yes, so for everybody listening and watching us, please let us know what how you go with those both questions and what comes up for you. We would love to hear.
And what truths are not yours that you're living.
Exactly.
Take it further. Yikes.
Have a
Have fun.
beautiful rest of your day.